The first season of Vikings Valhalla was recently released on Netflix, and fans have a lot of things to say. The show was mainly well received by fans of the original Vikings series, although it wasn't really the next Game of Thrones as it was touted out to be. Still, people can't wait for the next season of the show to eventually come out, and quite a few details have emerged about the second season since then, so let's take a deeper look. So is Season 2 of Viking Valhalla coming? Season 1 of Vikings Valhalla only recently came out, and as far as we know, Netflix isn't rushing to renew the series for a Season 2. They have not renewed it for a second season, nor have they commented on it. It seems like they're going to wait and see how successful the first season is going to be before they finally renew it. However, if you take a look at the charts right now, Vikings Valhalla is the #1 show in numerous countries around the world, and by all means, it's currently the most popular show on the entire platform. This only makes the show even more likely to be renewed. But the thing is, it's going to get a second season and a third season, whether it's successful or not. When Netflix acquired the show from the History Channel, they ordered 24 episodes. So far, only 8 episodes have been released. That means that the network might already be working on the second and third seasons, they just haven't been announced yet. This is why, if you're a Vikings fan, you shouldn't be too worried about Netflix arbitrarily canceling this show, since they've already made a huge commitment to it. When will Season 2 come out? Despite the show's first season coming out on Netflix in February 2022, it seems like the second season might come out as early as November of this year. It's pretty unusual for a show to release 2 seasons in a single year, but you have to remember, when Netflix ordered 24 episodes of the show, they wanted the production company to start working on all 24 episodes without a break in the middle. It's also pretty likely that they could have released 10 episodes in the first season instead of 8, but failed to do so because of production delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Keep in mind, no official release date has been announced for Season 2, and all of this is mere speculation based on some really solid sources. However, as long as there are no major delays, which seem unlikely at this point since most major production companies have learned how to work with the ongoing pandemic, a very early release seems highly likely. Judging by the success of Season 1, it seems like Netflix wants the season to come out as soon as possible, at least while it's still fresh in the minds of people. How far into Season 2 filming are we? Now, you'd expect Season 2 of Vikings Valhalla to be pretty far into production considering it's coming out later this year, right? But how far into production is it? Well, if the official editor of the show is to be believed, Season 2 has finished all of its filming right now. Yes, even before the first season of the show came out, Season 2 had already completely been filmed. On top of that, the editor let everyone know that he was currently editing the final episode of Season 2, which means that even the production of the show is almost complete. This is pretty good news for anyone who was anxious about the next season of Vikings Valhalla. But let's just hope the season doesn't end up being too rushed. Sometimes fan feedback plays a huge role in whatever direction a show takes, and without the feedback, we might just get a super disappointing season. What will Season 2 be about? The first season of Vikings Valhalla was set around 100 years after the conclusion of the original Vikings show. A time skip like that is highly unlikely in the second season, and we should see many of the stories that we saw in the Season 1 be continued over to Season 2. However, we're also likely going to see a lot of newer storylines. It's believed that Season 2 of Vikings Valhalla will mainly focus on the Viking exploration of Russia, Egypt, Constantinople, and the Middle East. We can't say for sure how historically accurate it's going to be, but it's certainly going to be a nice change in pace from the cold setting we're all used to at this point. It's easy to forget that the Vikings were some of the most well-traveled people in the world during the pre-medieval era, and it's quite rare that we see depictions of the Middle East, Egypt, and Constantinople during the 11th century, at least on major TV shows or movies. Staying historically accurate for this part is going to be difficult for the show, but it would make it absolutely amazing to see which characters will be returning. As for which stars will be returning to the second season, all things point towards characters like Leif, Freydis, and Harold almost definitely returning. However, things are still rocky for characters like King Forkbeard and King Canute's future, but fans have high hopes that the two beloved kings will be making a return as well. Spoiler alert for the next one, but Carolyn Henderson, who plays Jarl Håkon, has confirmed that we might not have seen the last of Jarl after her apparent heart attack in Season 1. Many fans have come to presume that Jarl had died as a result of her heart attack, but the actress who plays her keeps leaving these little hints that she might just return. The thing is, Jarl's death was kept vague on purpose, and we'll just have to wait until season 2 comes out later this year to find out whether she actually survived or not. Next, Vikings showrunner are struggling with historical accuracy. At this point, there's been a lot of criticism faced by the show about its lack of historical accuracy, especially since there are some times when it's spot on with its accuracy, and others where nothing really makes sense. The creator of the show, Jeb Stewart, admitted that getting the show to be as historically accurate as possible while also being entertaining can be quite difficult. In reality, history is just boring sometimes, and you need to add a little bit of drama to make it more interesting for the audience. Jeb said that his team collectively worked day in and day out to try to find the most interesting, true events from that timeline, and it was not an easy task by any means at all. However, the show took liberties when it came to actually portraying these events. He said that Vikings is still a completely fictional series that sometimes can be accurate. All of its storylines are based on the events that happen, but not on accurate recreation of what actually happened. Up next, Freydis's greatest weakness going into season 2. One of the coolest storylines in season 1 of Vikings Valhalla was that of Freydis trying to find her assaulters and take her revenge from them. Even though vengeful characters haven't always had a happy ending in the series so far, it was extremely satisfying to see Freydis finally get the upper hand on those who brought her to her lowest point. She was one of the few characters who came off looking exceptionally strong at the end of season 1, but what are some of her biggest weaknesses heading into season 2? According to Frida Gustafsson, the actress who plays the role of Freydis, her biggest weakness would have to be her lack of purpose, and how she's closing herself off from everyone once again. On top of that, everything she went through has also made her more violent and intolerant as a person, and all of this is going to eventually make her a lot of enemies, which, if you haven't figured out by now, is not something you'd want in the Viking era. Who was the one character from the original show to appear in the spin-off? Vikings Valhalla takes place 100 years after the events of the original show, as we've already mentioned. This time skip means that all of the characters that we knew from the original show are long dead by now, and none of them would be appearing in the spin-off unless it's some sort of flashback. However, there was one character who did make a return in Valhalla. So who was it? Well, it was the mysterious character called Seer. Seer was a character in the original show who would tell various other characters about their destinies, and it seems like he's some sort of mystical being since he managed to survive over 100 years to tell even more characters about their destinies. Seer is one of the many mysterious characters that are part of the Vikings franchise, and it's not uncommon for the show to delve into mysticism. Seer's appearance also opens the door for many more mystical characters to appear in future seasons of the show, and we can't wait to see if that actually happens or not. That's a wrap for this video. Are you excited for the second season of Vikings Valhalla? Let us know down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.